Yo, what up YouTube? This your boy Joe Barber. It is Wednesday, the 9th, and it's about 5:45 in the evening. I was just driving home and I was just thinking, I like having these little moments where I just start thinking on my own. A lot of us that get into being entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs, it's very scary. When you first start. I mean, it's all the time because there's a lot that's involved with being an entrepreneur. Understanding, how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, what responsibilities you have, and you can't really point the finger at anybody. You can also overwork yourself, be overcommitted, burn yourself out. You'll miss time with your family, not have strong relationships with people because you're so focused on your goals. And you want to get a little taste of the success in a monetary way, but also I think, in life we have ups and downs. Like, for instance, for me, I was doing really good at my barbershop when we first started. Had enough barbers, money good, people were spending, everybody was spending, everybody was making money. And then COVID hit and it crippled us. I was forced to sell my Shelby GT500, and then I was forced to sell my 65 Lincoln Continental. Those are sacrifices that I was willing to make, to stay afloat. Wanted to hold on to my dream. Lost a lot of money. My spouse lost a lot of money, helping me out, trying to keep up. And that's when I decided, I got to find a way to get through this. So I decided that I was going to open a school. I feel like that's another talent that I have, another gift that God gave me. So I'm like, you know what? I've been behind the chair for 17 years. I've been cutting, over 20 years. I mean, I didn't have my license at the time, but I was cutting at home, cutting at my friend's house. People will page me on my little beeper, and I'll drive to people's houses and cut them. I mean, let's just say my oldest son is 27. I've been cutting his hair, So I've been cutting for a long time. Now, I know it's hard for me to say I've been cutting, 30 plus years because I didn't have my license that long. I've had my license for 17 years, but I've been cutting way beyond that. So I just usually say, you know what, man, it's been over 20 years that I've been really going at it, day in, day out, kind of grinding on it and making money with it, making a living off of it. So I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. But what I realize now that I'm 41 years old, I realize that when it comes to dedicating yourself to something, especially if it's a dream that you have of making a life out of it, a career, it requires a lot of dedication, and you have to build yourself up. Even today wasn't a good day. I mean, today was my day off. But what I mean, a good day, it means when I look over my finances and I look at, man, how much I've sacrificed and how much money I want to have in the bank and how much I have to pay, my overhead, and it's just a lot, what I'm saying? And sometimes it sucks because even if I make $10,000 a month, then I got to look at my cost, and it's damn. And I look at other people, right? And this is where this idea comes to my head, where I'm looking at other people that are driving around. And I want to say a lot of them, they work for companies, they have that security net, I guess you can say, where it's oh man, as long as I show up to work, I'm gonna have money. As long as I, clock in, I'm gonna have money. And as long as I do what they tell me to do, I'm gonna have money. Which is great. I'm not against that. But then for me to go to go from being, an entrepreneur for that many years, and then to go back to working for a company, I think about it and I'm man, I don't know. I don't know if that's the life that I would want. Not that it's bad, but for me, I'm just saying, to go back to working for somebody and, building somebody else's dream or being a part of somebody else's system. And that's where the discipline comes in. Because I'm telling you, man, when it comes to making money and being a barber, in 1 month, I've made $30-something thousand in 1 month of cutting hair, I won a couple of barber battles. I did, a couple of things. Like, it wasn't just all cutting hair, but cut a few, people that were, A-list people that paid me good money. Of course, I had my barbershop running at the same time, so I was bringing in money from that. And I mean, there's a lot of money that could be made cutting hair now, but there's weeks where you can work, and bro, you only make enough just to get by. And those are the days that really should push you to want to, like, damn, man, I gotta do better. I gotta promote more. I gotta, whatever it is that you gotta do, which is pass out flyers, interact with people. Like, it has to bring the hustler out of you. And if it doesn't, that's when it's a problem. It really becomes a problem then, because it's like, sometimes you got to hear from people, man, that, hey, it's possible to make this much money, but you got to put in the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, hi guys. So that's what I wanted to share. That if you're in that position, man, where you're not making as much money as you want to make, if you got bills and you're like, man, I got to make this much. I gotta pay this, my phone, my insurance, my gas. And then right now, honestly, gas prices are going up. Food is going up. You gotta learn how to cut back. You gotta learn how to cut back on specific things. You gotta cut back on Netflix. You gotta cut back on like unnecessary spending. And that's where the discipline comes in, man, where you assess yourself and you're like, okay, how much is coming in and how much is going out? What do I need and what don't need? And those are the things where the maturity comes in. And instead of being sad or being down on yourself because you only made 600 throughout the week, or you only made 500 or whatever the amount is, that's not as much as you want it to be, because I was watching this video and this stripper was talking. A girl that's a dancer, she's a stripper at a strip club. She averages like $1,000 a day. And it's like, and that's, to each his own. But for me, it's like, it's about having integrity, right? And having respect for yourself and having pride in your work. And I'm not saying that it's bad that people are willing to do whatever it takes just to get money, because that's the kind of society that we live in. That's the system that we're in, because you need money to live. You need money to feel good, so you don't have that stress of like, man, I got to pay my light bill, my water bill, my gas bill, all that kind of stuff. But that's why I think like being a barber is one of those things too, where you can make $1,000 a day. If your skills is right, your networking is right, you can do it. I know people that do, I've done it. So I'm not saying that it's not possible, but it takes work, man. It takes a lot of work, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to really like block out, a lot of the nonsense, whether it's hanging out with people that are not like-minded, or you got to surround yourself with people that you become an asset to. At one point, I was cutting at a poker game, and I was making $1,000 just showing up there. Haircuts were $100 a pop, and I would cut, about 8 to 10 people. So on average, I'd make at least a G there. And it was a good feeling because I'm there, but I had to cut right after work. I'll leave my barbershop and go over there like at 2:30, and I would start cutting, and then I wouldn't leave till like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's what it took. And then I still had to, show up to the barbershop the next day and put into work. But now that my mind is like, okay, I want to open up this barber college. I just renewed my business loan with Live Fund. They've been helping me for the last 5 years. So once I open my school, I start accepting students. I know my money's gonna quadruple, and I plan on opening a few more schools. But it's about the system. It's about teaching these experiences to other people where we connect and like, look, man, don't expect to just come in the barber game and just, how to do 3 or 4 haircuts, the drop fade, mid fade, skin fade, or, a south side fade, or, it's a lot more to cutting hair than just that. Being a professional, being on time, being mindful of the environment, being mindful of the circumstances, all that, man. You have to understand how business works, right? So it takes time to understand that, and you got to hear from other people that have been there and done that. So hopefully you don't have to, take as many steps to be able to attain your goal. So hopefully this video helps somebody, man. I'm just saying, I wanted to share that with y'all because that was going through my mind. But now I'm home. I'm about to cook dinner. And it's, cooking dinner. Being home and cooking dinner helps. Because, man, I promise you, I went to go eat breakfast. I spent like $20 just on a meal for myself. I took my son one time, and we ended up spending about 40 something, almost $50 for two people. So we got to cut back. So hopefully I'll understand that, man. But you know what, man? Always keep your head up. Always have faith in yourself. Discipline yourself, man. And don't be afraid to cut back on things. And just because it's taking you longer to get to your goal doesn't mean you're failing. Doesn't mean that you're that far behind, man. Usually when it's at your hardest point, that's when you're going to make the breakthrough. So I highly advise you to just keep praying, keep working. Look in the mirror and talk to yourself and tell yourself, man, that you can do this, because you can. We all can. We all have that gift. God gives us a gift, man, and we just got to keep pushing no matter what. So I'm keeping the faith, man. My school should have been open already, and it's taking time, man. It's taking time, and it bothers me because I'm getting very impatient. But I don't want to overwork myself, because I know once the ball gets rolling, it's going to move fast, and I know I'm going to be putting in that time. So yeah, but y'all stay blessed, man. Y'all stay faded.